We should be live.
Awesome. All right.
That way a little bit.
All right, Louis is just kind of touching up a little bit of floor here so you guys can see it better and so we can see it better. And we'll go ahead and let's start our warm-ups on our legs. Let's go ahead, flat foot squats, again, nice and straight back. I've seen people do these with stuff in their hands as well. So, if you wanted to add some weight to it later, you can get a slam ball or something like that, or even a bucket of, or a milk jug of water is 7 pounds, right? A gallon jug of water is 7 pounds. So, but for now, we're just warming this up. So we're going to go ahead and do our flat foot squats. Again, go down to where you think you're comfortable and then push yourself just a little bit and see how it feels. Let's get 10 or 15 of those in. Try to keep your eyes up. There you are. It's a hat, yeah. Get the sombrero going.
I'm holding it wrong for that.
If you're done fast, go ahead and get some ankle rolls in there. Just, I know people indoors, I know my ankles have not liked this cement over the last number of months, so.
Nor have the arches of my feet.
Yep. All right. So next ones, let's go ahead. These we're not going to be flat-footed. We can get up. It's going to be a little bit more on the balls of your feet, and then we're really going to push it up to the toes after we're done. So first thing I want you to do is push all the way up until you can feel your toes. Grab that floor, okay? And then all the way down, keeping back perfectly straight. And then all the way up and push. Push all the way up. Get that little extra inch up there, and then down. And then up on the ball, and then onto the toes, and then down. Okay? Let's get 15 of those.
Having a day.
Having a day with balance there. Yeah. That's all right. I felt once already, too.
Everything being sore isn't helping, so.
Yeah.
My calves are among the things that are sore.
And side points on a point, if you even have trouble doing these at first, you can set like a chair or something that you can grab onto so you don't lose balance. Still to get that upward press. So.
The trick is not lean on it, it's just there for that little bit of keep you from tipping.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and next ones. Let's get the last ones in here, and these are the kind of the gliding ones, right? So we're gonna get in whatever stance you have. You can, if you want to push yourself a little bit, you can elongate that a little bit, and then we're gonna push all the way forward. You're gonna push onto that ball of that front foot, and then you're gonna lean it, push that belt over your toe almost, right? Really put some pressure on that balls, the toe, and then all the way back. And then all the way forward again. Okay, we're only going to do 10 this way, and then at 10, we're going to switch feet and do 10 the other way. So most of your force should be felt on the inside of your foot, not the outside of your foot. If it's on the outside of your foot, what's happening is your knee is traveling over the outside of your foot, which can be dangerous for knees. So that's one of those places you don't necessarily want to get into too often. For those that fight with their toes in, that's another place where a lot of times rotation will bring your knee over your outside of your foot. So you have to be a little careful. Even if you fight sideways, you want to make sure you allow the twist on that front foot. Otherwise, you're counter twisting on your knee and can cause damage. It's not that that style is wrong. It's just you have to make sure you're doing it all right.
Be nice to your knees.
All right, go ahead and switch feet if you have it. I need work on this one. The other day I noticed how I'm a little weaker on this foot than the other. Good part about this one is you can really get over that onto those toes and you can feel your, like just hang there for a second. You can kind of feel those toes really grabbing and strengthening it up. This allows for a lot more control in your feet. There we go. All right, we're gonna switch. We're gonna switch over to Archimedes for his shoulders, and then we're gonna switch over to Aethwin for hers.
All right. I usually like to start out with just feet shoulder width apart and just get my torso and shoulders rotating together. Kind of a qigong exercise. If you let your hands pop against your body, kind of wakes things up. And you can do this for as long or as little as you want. It kind of just gets your whole core together. And then same shoulder width apart. We start with just a back shoulder roll, just isolating the shoulders. Squeeze them forward, up and around. And just nice and easy. Just kind of feel the entire circle. And just isolating those shoulders. Get about 10 of those in. And you can squeeze the muscles and pull them all the way around just to get all the little tissues working.
This is a good one probably to squeeze your back, especially when they're back.
Yeah, as you come around the back, pull like you're pulling a bow. Pull those shoulder blades together and open the chest up. And then as you go forward, relax. And your hand should come in and turn. So
and if you watch his hands, you're going to see the back of his hands and then the fronts of his hands as you go back. Natural form usually puts your hands like this when you're standing. They're flat against your side. But when from work, doing computer work and everything else, we tend to roll our shoulders in, which can cause damage to your shoulders in the long run.
Yeah, this along with working your shoulders will open up your chest.
Yeah.
Right, breathe. Okay, and then once you've done them one direction, did we do them both directions? I think we did them both directions. Then we can come back. You put your arms out, straight out, and just small circles. Really try and stretch your fingertips out and just little rotations. And just focus on that shoulder joint. Just little, small, you can make them quick. And this will build a little bit of stamina in those small muscles, small tendons. And then after you've done 10 to 20 of those one direction, we're going to stop. We're going to go the other direction. Again, reach out with those fingertips. Try and really isolate the shoulders while you're doing this. And it'll start to burn because you're not used to having to hold your arms out. And if you really want to work out, just doing these exercises for 10, 15 minutes. Now we're going to make them bigger. We'll go forward, slowly get them out to where when you reach back, your hands are open and forward. You come up just like before. We're going to open up, but now we're doing big circles. Again, make sure you got good posture, feet shoulder width apart, bend your knees a little bit, and just enough inertia with the rest of your body to let your shoulders kind of flow around in a circle. Don't go too hard and pull the tendons. Keep it controlled, but just on that edge of free floating. And 10 to 20 of those. Relax your neck so your neck doesn't get tired. And now we go the other way. Reach up, reach back, Reach back, open that chest up. Keep your knees back straight. I like these because they're active stretching. You're engaging the muscles. 10 to 15 of these. And if you want to work on kind of a coordination stretching drill, you point one finger forward and one finger back, again with your shoulder feet apart. So bring your hands up and you turn your torso and they clap in the middle, and then they go the other way, like you're trying to squeeze yourself through a doorway. And your feet can rotate, but your arms stay on one plane. I'm going to go through these kind of quickly so that we're not taking up a lot of time. And the one thing I always do at practice is I grab my sword or a stick once the armor is all on, and I kind of walk the length of the practice field. And now this is just to put something with inertia into my hand. And I start off just getting the feel for the stick and feeling how my body's feeling with the sword. And then I like to do kind of 45-degree circles. Or you're letting, again, I'm letting my back go back and it comes forward. I pull my chest forward and I'm just getting a feel and letting that shoulder warm up now with something in it. And once it's feeling no Rice Krispie treats going forward, and we stop and we go the other way. So bring it up and just let it pendulum down. Let your hips engage a little bit. And you can sit there and do this while you're walking around. And just feel that. Make sure everything's limbered up and strong and there's nothing hitching. The other good thing about this is now you can switch to your other hand, that evil offside hand, and you can do the same stuff. And it gives this hand a chance to just warm up and flow with the stick. And then you can go the other direction. And try and really feel where the limitations are so you're not overdoing that, pulling on those little muscles, but just enough to where it makes sure everything's moving free before you try and start anaerobically stretching it at speed.
Awesome.
That's the down and dirty quick version.
I like it. All right, so I might have you do some more as we go forward again next week. Go ahead, we're going to switch over to Eithman and see what she has. She saw her with some club bells and some fun stuff. So, all right, you're on.
All right, get the camera started. Okay, so I was doing some club and base stuff. This is my little homemade Home Depot special. It's just a 3/4 black iron pipe filled with steel nuts and then wrapped with hockey tape. But you can just use your sword if you want. So what I'll do is I'll hold it one hand above the other, sort of champion style. And then whatever hand is up goes past that ear. You're going to drop it around. You're going to make sure that your top hand is right along the shoulder. Don't hold it too high, you're not needing to stretch. And you just let it come follow back around. Now I'll usually do 10 of those aside. So if you see in front, my hands are kind of doing a circle, kind of like rowing. Switch, go the other way. And yeah, I got the Rice Krispies going in my shoulder, but I spent way too much time sitting behind the computer. So this bar weighs about 10 pounds, 8 pounds. And because it's filled with shot, it's actually an evenly distributed weight as opposed to all at one end like a proper mace. And I'm feeling particularly energetic. And I'll use the sledgehammer. You can do the same thing. place. Let it drop over the shoulder, bring it around. And this is slow and controlled. All right? Because obviously you don't want that beating you in the head. You're doing that with the sword, you can do the same thing. Just back it built up
There you go. Yeah.
and around. All right? So the other one I was doing was clubs. Again, I made these. So it's just a little 3-pound weight, chunk of copper pipe at the sleeve, and then a wooden handle. So this ends up weighing about the sword. And I'm going to do it with this instead of the sword, because I'm concerned about my feeling right here. So basically, what you're doing, start with just swinging it up and then back, just to get the shoulder warmed up. We've already got ourselves nice and warmed up. Thank you. Recommended there. Now, when you're for the club routine, you're basically doing 90-degree turn. So you're 90 degrees in front. You rotate back. You rotate out, down, and then back up to third. Up. And again, slow and controlled. You don't want it going too fast. Some people use really heavy clubs. I'm not doing this for strength. I'm doing this, like I mentioned before, we're getting those little rotator muscles nice and warm. Good for the wrist. Over to the other side. And again. And you do 10 aside.
I think you could tell.
Yeah.
Oh.
About that.
Then when I've done that, I'll go the other way. Start in the middle, down. This was the one where wrist tape. This is working against gravity this time. And then you do the exact same motion, just counterclockwise. I had a lot of trouble with elbow and shoulder. I started doing these, this really helped. So I strongly recommend it.
These look great because, you know, the good part is you brought in the fact that you can make these very cheaply.
Oh, yeah.
With,
Pretty much everything I got in here, I made. Home Depot's your friend. So, you know, old sledgehammer, old pipe.
Yep.
When I'm at a fight practice or just before a tourney, I'll do these club exercises with my sword. I'll just choke up on it. Just, again, battery built up, and I'm just doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Do that every time.
Cool. All right. Yeah, those are super helpful, and everybody. These types of things that you add to your gear that you have can really help. And let me tell you, from somebody who doesn't have any shoulders anymore, appreciate them while you have them.
Yeah.
And pay attention. Just this warming up of your shoulder make a huge difference. And copper pipe or steel pipe is not super expensive. You just put a cap on both ends. They'll at the store you can buy. You know, in this case, they're probably, you know, you can make sword length or a little shorter, really, and they'll thread them for you. Buy 2 caps, fill it, buy 2 caps, and tape it up, and you're ready to go. We do the thing with wiffle ball bats as well, like kids wiffle ball bats. You can essentially pop a hole in the bottom, fill them with anything you want. I have some filled with rice or sand, and that way you can have different weights for those. You don't need to go super heavy on this exercise. About warming up your arm, and it's not about strengthening necessarily.
And we actually picked up Indian clubs at an antique store. It's another place. Even if you're doing flea markets, antique stores, it's another place to look for them.
Oh, that's cool.
Bowling pins are cheap.
Yeah, exactly. Lots of really good, yeah, exactly. And they make great steak hammers too.
Go to a bowling alley. The older ones are all beat up.
So, so thanks, guys. Thanks, both of you. Those are really good ones to start up with. I had a feeling you both knew better than I did on those. I do some warm up stuff, but Elfwin, those are really nice, showing how they do the bell work and stuff like that. And I know, Octa, you do those too, don't you? So that's a great start. I would suggest everybody save the video so that you can go back and try to go through it again. If you look up Indian clubs online, they'll show you lots of different exercises with them as well. Find something that feels like it's really working your shoulders out and run with it. And then like Alpine shows you, it's like you can do the same things with your sword. So when you're at somewhere, you don't have to carry your Indian clubs with you, but you have a sword with you. So use it that way. Warm up before you go out there and really start bursting your muscles. Lots of people end up with elbow tendonitis and things like that because what's happening is they're going from 0 to 100 instead of warming it up, stretching that tendon out, and then going and doing it. So do yourself a favor and get good stretches in prior to doing all this stuff, and you'll have a much nicer, longer life doing what we do.
And don't pinch your nerves.
And don't pinch your nerves. That's right.
Let me tell you how bad that sucks.
All right. So I think we're ready. You guys ready to get into our normal drills, and we'll talk a little about some of these again. Side showed the other day we were outside. Side's like, hey, this is this drill. So we'll talk about that one because we had a drill that we do that. In fact, let's show them. It's that one.
Oh, the out in.
Yeah, the out in.
This one. We figured out how to put it in a fight.
Yeah.
And make it useful.
So just to give you a feel, where some stuff that you don't think really is something you'd use, that's more just agility. We were showing her how to freeze somebody prior to moving. So she essentially took tiny little steps. That's an out in. Right?
If you're in the middle of a fight applying tension on them, they will go, oh crap.
Right, or they'll freeze, like I did if I'm standing in here and then she looks like she's going either way, I don't know. I freeze into a stance and then she can go away, or she can go ahead and make a hook around move. See, so I'm froze into a position, she used that out in to freeze me, and then I can go. Then she does another piece of footwork. And so this is the kind of stuff that you can...
Which way I'm going.
Right, this is the kind of stuff that how this footwork can be used in a fight. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how we can use this footwork, because we had some people applying just the footwork on others, and they felt like it was easy for their opponents to follow. There's pieces that have to be part of that to essentially make it more effective in a fight. That hesitating your opponent, pulling him one way, going the other way, those are all the pieces that we'll talk a little more about today. All right.
All right, so ladder drills. First one, 2-step run. One foot in front of the other. It's like I took a glance down the list, and again, I think everyone here has been here before. If not, ping me and let me know. I'm not always sure.
Isabel?
I thought she'd been here.
Yeah, I think she might have been.
Anywho.
All right.
Do it with one foot, and then do it again leading with your other foot.
For those that have been doing this a little bit more often now, I just want you to feel free into those. Don't overthink them. I really want you to, and I want you to drive some energy into them. All right? In other words, we're going to work a little bit more on bursts today. So I can just be out here and doing these like this, but today we really want to get in and bend those knees and drive. Try to be as fast as you can. I don't care if you miss steps. Just try to speed it up.
I'm going to continue showing everything slow at least once as the demo. If you've been here a while, yeah, do what he's doing.
All right, next.
Next one, we're going to do our hopscotch. So jump out to the side, feet together. Out to the side, together.
Again, keep your head nice and level.
And you can go backwards.
And you can go backwards. Keep that back nice and straight.
We got her. Yeah,
Cool.
view over here.
All right, let's keep pushing ourselves. Looking good, folks. That's nice. So this is where we're going to learn that burst. Really nice, Sigrid. That's exactly what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Gatulio, you're looking good there. They keep your head nice and straight. Very good job.
Actually, Germanicus is looking really good, especially for wearing a helmet while doing all this hopping.
Yeah, that helmet isn't even moving. It's awesome.
Not making a bounce helps.
Yeah, it really does.
He's just right down.
All right, let's move to the next one.
All right, next one, basic skiers.
William is fast.
So this is our drop gather here. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Drop open and close.
Let that body carry you.
And then, of course, you can do it backwards. You can do it correctly backwards, unlike I just did. While going backwards, it's a lot easier to fall into the pushing off and hopping instead of dropping. Stick and drop.
I'd like everybody to do that one frontwards one more time, and let's try to get it really add some speed to it. Just let yourself be free. That's the way, Elfin. Kenza, nice job. Kensia. Ksenia. That's it. Thank you. Nice job. You're looking good there.
Just add like an imaginary A after the K.
Gotcha. I know I'm like. Better, Bess. That's the way. You look a lot more comfortable. You're not even thinking about it. That's what I wanted to see. Agnes.
I've been practicing after practice. And that's the difference.
Oh, yes. Thank you. So yeah, Agnes, you look great there. Your head's hardly moving at all. That's awesome.
Easier to see off of.
Grimmer, nice to see you. That's the way, everybody. Okay, we're going to move on to the next one.
All right, so now we're going to do the shuffle step version of that. So 1 foot in, 1 foot out again, but we're going to let that outside foot come together into that box in front of you. So we're just moving our feet in the opposite order.
As you get better and better at these, you can actually travel that foot a little bit to get a little more distance. It's not a cross foot. Your both feet will be off the ground at the same time. That's the way. Good. Nice job, Octa. Yeah, you get the idea. They're both off the same time sometimes in those shuffles. The Angies, I want you to move your upper body. Right now, you're just moving your bottom body. I want you to fall into a hip. Yes. Let's do it again. Make sure your whole body slides. There you go. Good. Up. There you go. Much better. Make sure you're shifting your balance over. Let your balance carry your upper body. There we go. Your feet start following.
Right. Shift your weight before you pick up your foot.
Yep, exactly. We're not going to pick up, but we want to shift that weight to where we're going and the feet follow. Bess, looking great there. I know you had a little trouble with these. You must have been practicing. Gutulio, that looks good too. Nice job, everybody. Everybody's pushing it. William, nice job. Ah, perfect. Angie, you're looking great, man. That's exactly it now. All right, let's move to the next.
All right, so now we're going to take that same one and we're going to add that turn in towards the ladder. So I'm still, this foot's going to be the one that steps first, and I'm going to turn with it.
The key here is make sure when you're coming across that your foot turns.
So shuffle triangle steps.
Basically, yeah. Sure. Triangle.
Then we're going to try that backwards.
Yeah. This one you can do backwards. It's a little weird when you first try. Definitely all about taking that hip and putting it over there where you need it to be.
That's the way. Yeah, the big piece on this one is getting used to these turns of your body. Because what we're doing is we're learning to drop into the hip on angles. Remember, your feet shouldn't be controlling your movement so much as your center, moving that center around. Abelard, how's these feel? Give me a thumbs up or down. All right. Good to see. Nice. Angie's, again, you're looking really good this week. Everybody's looking a lot more comfortable with understanding, because it's not easy. Even I have that trouble. It's sometimes those feet get messed up, but you guys are looking a lot more comfortable. I don't see nearly as many people thinking about it anymore. I just see them doing it, which is awesome.
All right, next one is going to be our 3-step. So we're straightening back up. One foot in, one foot out. Now all we're going to do is we're just going to add a step on the front and then do that same shuffle step. Step,
Yep.
and then your feet together. Step, shuffle.
So remember, you got the step, and then you're going to drop that hip into that 45, right? Step, drop the hip into that 45, and bring those feet back together. Step.
As you speed it up, you can get that air time where you go even further side to side because you're traveling sideways while both feet are off the ground for a moment. And then, of course,
Backwards.
backwards. Sit back, don't reach back.
Yeah, so instead of pushing into the front 45, now we're dropping into the rear 45 for these. So even though your foot's stepping back, you're following that foot almost back and creating that. So the biggest piece in all of this is we're learning how to control our body really much more than ever before. Some of these require more of a drop for distance. Some require less. So if you're going to travel a shorter distance, then you don't shift over quite as far. You don't push the balance so far over that will force you to go that way. So if I'm only wanting to go a little ways, all I do is I just transfer my whole body just a little bit, and that controls that distance. But the more control we have on our body, the better we understand how to use it. We don't fall into problems. Grimmer, how's it feel today? Legs good? Give me a thumbs up. Awesome. All right.
I was just thinking we don't fall into problems, we fall out of problems.
Going backwards, we definitely fall out of problems.
We do both.
We do both. Sometimes you could fall into a problem, but you don't want to stay there. All right.
All right, so next one is our cross behind. So we're going to do that step again, and we're going to cross behind on our instead of gather stepping, or excuse me, shuffle stepping, we're going to actually let that leg cross behind. So step and then cross and open.
And try to keep your hips pointing forward, not rotating too much.
Here, this one we are trying to do straight.
So this one you could do from edge to edge of the ladder. Again, today, remember, we're working on more bursts, so I'd like to see the people try to even push it past the edges of the ladder.
You can do it backwards. When you go backwards, you'll end up crossing in front. Yay.
So again, this comes when you want to get more burst on this. This really comes with allowing your body to fall deep into whatever step you're taking. So if I'm here, I'm going to allow my body to get almost to a point where I fall. Falling, and then I step. Then you can burst through it, and that'll get you much bigger bursts. Bang, I'm over here. Way outside the ladder. Way outside the ladder. Very good. Also, remember what helps you burst a lot of times is by being down into those legs a little bit. So be careful about standing up. We're going to get our legs nice and strong. Figure out where you are, drop 2 inches in. And all of a sudden, that burst becomes even bigger. Yeah, that's the way, Gutulio. That you did exactly what I was talking about. Very nice. Grammer, well, you get some big steps. Of course, you're a big man, so. Nice. Good job, buddy. Abelard, how's yours feeling? Pretty good? Yep, there you go. Nice job not turning your body, too. Good. That's the way. So this is the opportunity really, I want you to really start thinking about how you would use that in a fight. So in other words, it's like, okay, imagine that opponent in front of you and you're like, I want to go, here I am. She's directly in front of me. I want to go as far around or far that way as possible to make her turn or whatever. So now I have to add that same energy. Right? So if I want to go a shorter distance, then I might just shorten that step up. And then later we'll talk about how to make this work to that point where you can essentially, I'll start going this way, then I'll go this way. Okay, so that gives that burst. All right, on to the next.
Next one, we're going to go into our 4-step now. So I'm starting off to the side instead of 2 foot in, off to the side, and we do our 1, 2, 3, 4. It's sort of 2 drop steps in a row. Drop, drop. It was a lot better for me when I started to do it in that way.
Yeah,
just trying to 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Now it's just
One constant flow, exactly.
so you're just there.
Try to fall back into your stance.
Don't let your knees collapse like mine. Do.
Okay, good, Tulio. You're going to add another step. Both feet should be outside the box at the end of each of these. So Sai will do it again and show you.
Just like that.
Yeah, just like that. Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yep. The good part about this exercise is what it allows you to do is keep going, learn to keep flowing all the way through. So here we stop 1, 2, 3, 4, but I could make this 6 or 8. However a person tracks me depends on how I want to make it work.
Jutulia, 2 in, 2 out.
Hold on. Watch real quick.
We're going to do it once more time.
Here we go.
1 foot in.
2, 3, 4. There's 4 distinct steps. 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right, let's see what you're doing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Good. That's better.
Yes.
Better.
Excellent.
And try to recover your balance on the outsides when you stop.
So what this is also doing is it's helping you understand not only like what Louis just said, catching yourself or controlling your balance, but now you also have to shift your balance. So you're learning that. All right.
Next one. Next is our lateral, aka sideways, in, out, out. So we're stepping in, back out. Next box, in, out. Left, right, all the way down.
Try to move your whole center with your shoulders in and out of the box too.
Here, I'll do that for you.
That's all right. I lost my feet is why I slowed down, not because you do. I was like, ooh, lost my feet. And I still have it backwards at the end.
Just like crash your elbow. Which might be for you, but
Not for you right now.
I'm gonna put on the elbow pad for there. Do it both directions, right and left.
Now this one can be used in a fight as well. All right, and it gets used in a fight really fast,
Similar way as the other one.
similar to the other one, but I'm going to push my opponent to see what they're going to do. So if I'm fighting side here and I go, and she starts falling backwards, then I know, okay, maybe I don't need to fall backwards. I might just go and then fall in and do a passing shot or a passing step. Or if she just drops down, then I can get back and throw a long range shot because she thinks she's grounded, I'm still out of her range, and I'm using it that way. So, good part about this exercise is you make those feet fast, you can get them in, out really fast, and that surprises your opponents. So it makes your opponent think really quick. It's like, whoa, what's happening? And you know exactly what's happening, so you're controlling them. Yep. We did this exercise. We're going to show this exercise as part of an exercise that me and Louie were doing on Tuesday in the backyard, where we did that exercise to create range, and then we did the long jab step to create that burst and timing at the end of the range for a surprise. So we'll show you when we get to adding a couple of combinations of steps together.
Next one?
Yep.
All right. Now we're going to take in and out and do it forward. So that's the one where we step out to the side of the box and then in it.
Nice.
You can do it once leading with your left foot and once leading with your right foot.
And if you're feeling comfortable, try it one more time with speed. You see, kick that speed up. Yeah, even if you mess up, I don't care. Keep your head up. Watch those shoulders going backwards. Keep that back straight. Better. Nice. Everyone. Angie, that was much faster. Sivert, you're going to put some weights on that kid's feet. He's fast.
That's just going to make him faster.
I know. We need, that's why, putting weights on his feet because no, I'm talking all the time. I'm not just talking fight practice.
Don't worry. He's starting out with the really crazy heavy metal legs when he's starting fighting. So I'll slow him down a little bit.
All right. That's good. Germanicus, you doing all right over there? Give me a thumbs up. How's your back? Okay. Nice. All right. That looks good, buddy. That looks really good. Nice transition backwards. Awesome. Cutulio, these look really good for you. Elfwin, you're doing awesome as usual today. Nice job, everybody. All right, let's move on to the next one. Woo. Angie.
All right.
Angie's going pretty good. Pretty good. She's getting better and better.
Now we're going to get into our various forms of jab, step, jump thing. So we're starting with just our plain jab, jump, both feet out. The second foot goes in the box, but both feet move forward.
This is teaching you an important lesson, though, as she's doing this. When you're coming into the jab, you're leading with your center again. I'm leaning over that front foot and I fall on it, just gathering the back a little bit at the same time. When I go back, now I'm shifting back a little bit. And forward, right? No, I was right here. I just one spot.
Yeah. You have to redo this entire.
So this is such a minute shift of the hip, forward and backwards. You're learning it. Man, Akta, you look great on those. You're learning so much control about yourself in this exercise. If you really focus on what your body's doing, it's such a tight control. This is the kinds of things that make you a better fighter.
So you can do drop step in, drop step out.
Yep.
Double jab out.
Like
You can do that. Drop step in, drop step
yeah,
out.
that's the one that we're doing. Oh, both.
If you're going slow to get the movement right, don't worry about the bobbing. But when it's comfortable, remember that movement forward is a type of fast lunge. It's not a hop. It's a forward lunge. So when you're doing it at normal speed, there should not be almost any up and down motion.
Exactly, and that's the idea that you're gliding forward, because if you change your directory up, you're losing distance. Also, you're telling your opponent you're coming. Right, so now Louis was just showing there's actually two ways to do this, and I'd like you guys to really understand that. Louis, go ahead and show them. There is the double jab, essentially a jab and a gather. They're two separate pieces. Go ahead. So that's the second one. Do the first one.
Oh, you said double.
Oh, sorry.
So there's a drop in and drop out, which is, so I'm just shifting my weight a little bit before I take the step, and shifting a little bit out before I take that step.
And the back foot's following here. It's not actually at the same time in that step. So what's happening is I'm here, and then that back foot kind of follows behind with it. And then there's essentially both of them jabbing at the same time, where they're identical. Kind of almost like a forward hop. So you just have to be careful in this hop that it's almost like a small lift and then back again. Right? But that's how you get that feel. Sooner or later, what usually happens is they come so close to looking alike that that's perfectly fine. But understand that when you first, I see a lot of people at that first one, that second foot follows like a gathering step, like it should be. And then that front foot follows back. But there is also both feet going, right? This is kind of what we talk about in how they do the TikTok video as well, where both feet, so we have that we have this triangle step that we can do, right, that we're just doing. But in the TikTok, what happens, or in what is called the shuffle, you can lift both feet at the same time and jump back. Or I could bring this in. I could bring it in and touch, or I could just literally lift both. Both are airborne at the same time.
One gives you smoothness, the other one gives you speed.
Right.
Just a little bit.
So don't worry if you're doing it either way. I just wanted to make sure you guys know that you'll probably feel it both ways.
Subtleties. The more aware of them you are, the more you can use them.
Exactly. All right.
And we're getting uber detail oriented here, so.
Well, everybody's been doing it for a while, so.
Which one? Okay, switch foot. So we start with 1 foot in, 1 foot out now, and we swap them. So this one, your body is moving in a straight line sideways, and you're just swapping your feet underneath you.
That's it. This is one that you can start driving some speed on. Make sure you're bending your knees.
Keep your back straight.
Keep your back nice and straight.
And try to stay facing forward the whole time. Don't get into this crazy windshield wiper with your body.
Do you switch which hip is forward, or do you keep it the same the whole way?
You can switch the hips a little bit.
I don't necessarily. So it depends on your stance. In the one we're doing here, your hip should be almost the same all the way through the exercise. But if I'm doing something and I tend to stand on an angle, then I might switch and change hips along with it. That's perfectly fine. In this exercise, we're trying to stay perfectly forward. You can see, yes, my hips are turning a little bit, but they're not.
There's like the overall line is still
They're not that.
Basically forward.
Probably benefits trying it both ways.
Yeah, you could do them both ways though. So if I tend to fight with my front, if I'm fighting and I tend to fight with my foot pointed in between my opponent, if I do a switch foot, I would expect my other foot to point in between. So your hip is going to change. This is still technically square for you, but because you're on an angle naturally, I have to change it. Right?
You'll also see that while your shoulders are turning a little bit to match, they're not going the same distance.
Right.
Then you're doing this, and that's going to be hard to fight through.
Right. Also, if you're switching your hip all the way, maybe you're timing that with throwing a shot at the same time so that you get more power on it. If you don't switch your hip all the way, maybe you're delaying a shot.
Right. So some of this depends on when you're going to throw that shot, right? So if I switch and the shot's not there, I may be already committed with my hip and not get the power out of it. But if I can switch, leave my hip where it's supposed to be, even if it's over here, I want to still leave my hip. If I'm going to throw right off, that's fine. But if I'm not, then you still want to leave your hip a little bit behind so you can develop the power.
Alrighty, next one. We're going to get in our stance and we're going to do that sort of jab foot jump.
That's a good point.
Forward 2 runs and backwards 1. So forward and a little bit back. Big forward, small back.
When you hit the end, come all the way back doing it backwards just for Wrongbalder. Blame it on him.
That's what you're going to do with your other foot. Just for fun.
Yeah. And back. Yes. Wrongbalder likes when he curses at him. If you really don't like this, you all curse at Wrongbalder. He'll make his day better.
Curse you, Wrongbalder!
You know, Wrongbalder, that's all kind of wrong.
Wrongbalder's like, I don't care if you're doing the drill. Ha ha ha.
I still win.
Well, right.
Backwards is the best one.
Ooh, that is a sensitive mic.
He's just very passionate about it, okay? There's someone that has to be, because it's not me.
Gotta say, that shot is the most Monty Python shot I've seen for a long time.
Nice.
That's
Hey,
really cool. All three of you going together, that's cool.
So I want you guys to go ahead and get through these, and I'm going to show something on this one. We were practicing this one a little bit in the backyard on the Tuesday. A lot of times when we're in a normal distance of essentially right at the edge of range, so if I have a sword, she has a sword, I can essentially just shift my weight forward and touch her. This is too hard to do a long jab because then I'm too far in. That long jab, what I want to do is create distance. So in this long jab, what I might do is we just did that in, out, out, but even better, we did the kind of switch foot thing where we drive forward. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drive forward, and I'm going to fall back. Now look at the distance between us. It's very large. So now what happens is she's going to start coming back in, and then I'm going to throw it. So I'm finding that time to do that long jab. She's walking into range. She's not expected to get hit yet because she's believing we're out of range.
And I'm feeling real dumb for having just bailed when he didn't actually come in.
Right. So what's happening is we create that distance. So again, it looks like this. I do that that double step forward, the switch step forward. And then I back up a couple of steps. And then bam! And she's coming back in. So I find that time and I create that shot. Right? Ultimately, it's going to look something like this again. Here I am. Drive her away. She comes. Bang! Right? And we use that roll off that we're supposed to do when we do. So that's an exercise. Once you have a partner, you can actually do that with somebody. Learn to drive them off and then fall back, create that distance, set up, and then just as they hit that point of range, jab forward, throw your shot.
And as a note for drill partners, if the person you're working with is trying to practice that, go ahead and purposely fall off and then come back so they can figure out their timing.
Right.
Even if their threat isn't as super awesome just yet.
So i.e., be a good partner because they'll be a good partner to you. Don't change up your time. That's not your job. Your job is just to be a good partner.
You just stand there and go, and don't move. They don't actually get to practice what they're trying to practice.
All right. So we'll cover a little bit more of that in a bit, but let's go ahead and finish these up.
All right, so our last one for a turning step, facing into the side of the ladder in my stance, step with my back foot pointing down the ladder, flip around the other way, back into my stance. Pointing down the ladder, flip back around. Take that first step with your back foot every time. And then you do it all again with the front foot.
Later, Isabel. All right.
And this is one, if it's hurting your knees and torquing them,
Do that.
don't turn all the way. Get maybe a 45-degree angle on the ladder. Only turn as far as your knees can safely handle.
You can do these backwards like Louis is, but we're going to go ahead and do the short step.
I'm going to show with the front foot now if anybody needs to watch.
One of these days I'm going to have to do that. At least 8.
So it's still always that step has to point your toes straight down the ladder. And yeah, if you want to try it backwards, they're doing it right now. You can
And the only difference is you point your toe the other way.
It's still pointing down the ladder, but it's pointing. You're moving backwards away from it instead of down towards it.
If you want to work on balance, stay on the balls of your feet the whole time. Try not to let your heel touch. And strength.
Good. See how everyone's doing on those?
And this is our last one of the day. So get your rounds in and then grab some water. You earned it.
That's the way. All right. So if you're feeling pretty comfortable, let's kind of speed those up. You'll find out you're already doing it. You're looking pretty good. Is the idea is you'll start learning to control that balance of your body even more. So we can do a million agility drills, and we're learning a lot of different stuff. One is we're learning how to point our feet better, how to rotate around those toes, getting on the balls of our feet. But even more so, we're learning how to control our body and flow. So we can change easier because we know where we need to change in our body because we know where our balance is. Many people don't understand that idea, and they fight themselves sometimes on this. In other words, they'll do a pass, and then the next thing you know, they're 10 feet away because they haven't learned how to change their balance very effectively.
Switch your stance and do it the other way.
Oh yeah, do it with your. Do a funny foot forward. Whatever funny foot means for you. I forgot. Thanks, Louie.
You can also try focusing on speed or focusing on smoothness with your center.
You need to move that chair.
Yeah.
I keep stepping into it too.
We can fold it up.
Or you can focus on trying them small or trying them real big.
Alpha, you're really looking. The speed you're adding is really nice.
Oh, I don't know if he's gone already, but Octa has to leave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's already out. Okay, I'm glad he showed us his warm-up session.
Very nice, everyone. That's the idea.
Best that's really smooth and consistent. If it's comfortable, you can start to add a little bit of a burst with it if you want. But the movement's really good. You're ready to move on with it, I think.
I really just want to continuously call out Germanicus because he's been with us since just about the beginning. And holy cow, you come a long way. You're looking so good.
He does. He's just smooth as hell.
From the first day when you went, wait, I'm where? As we all did.
Yeah, this is really good stuff, folks. All right, let's get some water and let's go ahead and pull that Pel out. And we're gonna add a change up in the rotational Pel exercise. We're gonna treat this Pel a little bit more like an opponent this week. All right. We're gonna do the rotations. Make sure you fill your water if you need it. Gutulio, you got a space to be able to do these? Remember, you can do them like right against the wall. So if you set something on a box on like right in front of your couch or something, you can do that. You don't have to have full all the way around. Oh, perfect. Yeah, that works perfect, man. You're good.
That's what I got. Maybe we'll see.
And you can see Bess has kind of hers stuck in the corner there. A good thing you can do too is like still put like a small stick or something in your hand. Even think around what you have around the house. There you go. That's a big stick. So, but that's fine. If you find that too big, go ahead and grab like you can even grab like a serving spoon or something.
Yeah, I got saucepans and stuff. I'm not good.
Exactly. I like that. Perfect, man. That's the way. All right. So one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to get a little bit, just get a little bit used to our rotation stuff, and then we're going to apply two techniques with rotation. So we might, the first time, we'll just go ahead and work at simple gather step, and all I want is essentially that gather step, and then gather step back the other way twice, and then gather this way twice. Just kind of back and forth in front of the belt. But make sure your hips are always on the belt. All right? So just do that like 2 or 3 times. You can do that with any, if you want to do it with sword and shield, but at least pretend you have the sword and shield in your hand. Just simple gather step back and forth. So you'll do like 2 double times. There you go. You can, yep. And actually go ahead and change it this way. Do 3. So in other words, just do 3. 1, 2, 3. And then just back again.
2 each way?
Yeah, 2 each way. There we go.
So it's our 4 step.
Yeah, it's our 4 step. So and Side kind of nailed this. This is our 4 step, but now we're turning our body along with it to make sure that we're always have good control of where our opponent is. That's the way. Good. Go ahead, Bess. Let's see it. I see you're managing dogs.
I'm not really sure what we're doing. I'm just trying to get them out of strike range. So what are we doing?
Okay, so we're just doing, go ahead, do it slow, Louis. There you go. You're just doing essentially, get to 45, you're doing 2 steps over around the opponent. 1, 2, and then back. Gather step. Reach out and back.
Okay.
And it's actually like Saib said, it's like the 4-step drill, but now we're rotating with each step a little bit just to make sure our hips stay on them. Go ahead, Angie. I want to check you how you're doing. Good. And this can feel just like that 4-step drill where you're just falling constantly one way and then the other way. And then you can see, again, if you have sword and shield, or even when you have your sword, make sure your sword's not bobbing around. Sigrid is doing a nice job. He's making sure that his shield is not bobbing around. He's not getting any extra distance between your sword and shield as you go through these. Angie, very nice. That's the way to go. You're looking good there. Yes. All right. So now we're going to add a little bit of a change to this. Okay. And the reason why I wanted you to do that 4-step is because this time what we're going to do is we're going to take a step that's half a step sideways. In other words, we're only going to drop our foot instead of doing a big gather. You see how big that gather is right there, right? Or the big drop step. I'm going to take like a tiny one. So I'm only doing a little bit of a jump. Here I am. I take a tiny one and then a big one this way. So the idea here is my opponent is in front of me. I make her think I'm going this way with a drop step. She turns and then I take a big step this way. All right, so here we go again. I go here and then I come back over here. So here with a small step and then big step over here. I can take the arm offside head. And then you can do it the other way. Same thing. Small and then big to the rack. Okay, here we are. Small, big. All right, so I want you to practice small gather, big gather, and with a shot at the end of it. Okay, so we'll go ahead. Saib's going to do it on the Pel. And you can see, instead of her foot going away, there we go, see? So her foot goes half of that diagonal when she's in front. So if she goes this way, it's half, and then she goes full all the way over here. And we should do that both ways. The first one will freeze your opponent. Your opponent doesn't know how far you're going. You're good. Your opponent doesn't know how far you're going.
Hit your head.
I thought you hit my head. Oh. I'm going to move this so we're out of the way.
You can unplug it.
Okay. I'm just going to move it over
Just
here.
take it anyway.
Are we good here?
Yeah.
All right. All right. I'm going to watch a little bit, see how people are doing. That's the way, Abelard.
Yeah, throwing a shot.
It's harder.
One's getting me.
Yeah. So you can do that drop Molinet. There you go. Or inside.
I'm liking that better than the offside.
Be careful, Sifrid, that you're not leaning your shoulders out on those sometimes. Okay? Good point. Without the gather.
Right, but it's shift the weight over.
Yes.
And then the foot
Outside your hip.
right.
And then go.
And then go.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it can be fast too. Yeah. Yes.
The shooting one.
So Louis is going to show you. You guys continue this for. And we're going to show you kind of a cheater method with it's essentially a drop step without the gather.
And I hit my own shield. Because of course I did.
And Angie, let me see you do this one. Yes, exactly. That's the way. You're doing good. Now, sword with your step and throw. Yeah. Good. Nice job, Germanicus. That's it. That's the way. The idea is that first short step freezes your opponent a bit. Just make sure, again, that you're not leaning your upper body. Keep it nice and stacked. There we go. Nice. Now do it the other way. If you've done it the other way, go the other way as well. And you want to really think about this like this is your opponent. Think about how he's going to react to you and add that energy to it. Yes, exactly. Nice job. Gutulio, that looks good. Yes. Nice. Ksenia, that's the way. Watch a little bit. You're doing like a double stutter on your feet. Make sure you're just doing that. Yes, right there. Good. That's much better. Yep. You don't want to jump up and down. That's the only piece. Good. All right, Louis is going to show you guys a slight modification on this one. He picked up from a gun example of how to do this. It's a little bit of a cheater on it because we're going to take out the gather. So
it's still a drop step, but if you shift your weight over that foot, it's real hard to move in the other direction. But if you shift your weight over the foot and then take the outside step, now you can.
Right. So it's the same step we're doing before, except when we step, we gather our other foot. In his case, he's not going to gather. He's just going to step out and then switch and go. So it's essentially you create this drop and then you go, right? Drop and then you're going to shoot off of that foot.
So Louis, as you're doing that drop, you're basically loading to push off the other way?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
So the only key to it, it can't be a big
Using
drop.
that back foot as a launch pad.
What's that?
You're using that back foot as a launching pad.
Right, but you don't step out first. You shift your weight so it gives the appearance that you're actually moving in that direction.
Although all of them should be shifting.
Ah, okay.
So you shift
Can you do it really slowly, please, and talk it as you're doing it?
Right. So if you watch, my foot's on the line right now.
And that's your back foot.
Back foot.
That's my back foot. That's
Okay.
And I'm going to shift my weight over top of that foot. Now that foot's frozen. Pick up the other foot.
Okay.
Actually move quickly to shift my balance to go this way. It's going to be very slow movement. But if I shift my weight over that foot and then I take a step outside of my balance, I can push off quickly.
So it's the same, really. It's the same step as we were doing, except here we are. Here's my angle. I drop over here, step, right? So here I am and I gather, but he's not adding, he's adding a really small step, and then he's loading and then shooting back this way. There's no gather. So here he is, bang. My foot, look at my other foot stays where it was. And I'm kind of loading all my energy on top of this foot, and then I shoot back that way using that foot. Go ahead, do it again. You got it.
So when you're doing that, when you take that first step and you're watching your opponent to see if they bite on it. And
Yes.
if they don't bite, you just keep going.
Yeah, and the best part is you can watch what happens in this case where, go ahead, Luke. I'm going to add it to Louis here. Stand right there, I think, trying to find a space I can see.
Yeah, that should be all right.
Is that good right here? Good. I'm going to just fake this step first. Watch this. See, now all of a sudden, he doesn't know I'm going that way or not. And I also didn't shoot. And look, his feet got really wide.
Right.
So just by making this fake step, I essentially learned a ton about my opponent. So now I'm going to do it to him, but I'm going to load on this foot. And then I'm going to shift back, right? So all I did is I loaded here, and then I shot back over here. The trick is you're taking one piece out of the other step, and that's the shuffle. So I could still do this with a shuffle, or gather, so I can still go here, and then shoot back over here, but there's a little bit more time. Because what's happening here is I'm here, I bring my foot with me, and then I'm big out over here. So that gathering of the foot essentially adds a little more time to the comeback. So just beware, there's no difference. I can just shift into that. I'm not even moving. I'm just falling into it. He doesn't know where I'm going yet. And then you target that outside elbow. So it's almost like you're just dropping into a small step. At the beginning, I don't even care if you drop your whole body. Bang, my head drops a little bit. Later, you can take that out, but I want to sell my opponent, so I want to show him. Look, I'm going this way. Give him something to look at. But now I'm loaded on that foot, and I can use that foot to shoot me over. So that's what Louis is talking about there. We do that forward as well, by the way.
About half an hour ago, someone says we lost sound. Dear Facebook audience, do we still have sound right now?
Oh, that's
Please let us know. I forgot to check the comments.
Certainly as a participant, I can hear you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, just Facebook.
Our Facebook stream may have lost sound, so we'll find out.
If you
I'll check.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, someone can hear us. Thank you.
All right. You know who that is? That month we lost someone. Craig.
Oh.
Sorry, Craig. Hopefully you can still hear us. Anybody online, again, if you want to join the Zoom, just let us know. We'll get you in the group. All right. So thank you, Louis. That's a really good thing to show the next bursting piece, right?
What I found interesting was when I took my step to go with you, because I don't want to let you outside of myself, so I bring my step over. But when you take the double step, I have time to sort of recover with my other foot. When you do the drop step one, I feel like my foot's still in the air while you're changing.
While I'm changing distance, yeah. We do this step, what I call the jab step, and I'll do it forward a lot of times, where I'll make my opponent think, this is, again, just a simple drop step. I'll make my opponent think I'm going to go forward, and I'll just lift my front foot and drop onto it.
The most traditional drop step.
Yeah, just like that. So here I am looking at you. I'm coming. I'm coming. That person bails once or twice. You get to learn if they're going to run. You get to learn if they're going to stop moving or tension. And then you use that. I use this for tension all the time. If I'm fighting side and I know side's going to run away every time, I'll go. And there she goes. And then so she's not sure now. Now she's getting a little mad that she doesn't know what's happening. So, and then I change it.
No, I'm like, oh, you're just messing with me.
So what happens is after that last jab, she's like, oh, I'm not going to go back as far. And then I go ahead and just follow in with a passing step.
We got a question.
All right, got a question.
Hi, we've not got the right camera, but are there other guards you recommend for these steps as well as this one?
So I guess I'm not quite sure what you mean, guards.
Like other stances or?
These steps can be used with pretty much any stance that you guys all have.
Feel free to hop in and clarify the question if we're not answering.
Yeah, so this can be done funny foot, same way. Here I am, working Louis funny foot. I can essentially do this drop step and then switch way over here. And you notice Louis is still facing this way. So I'll do this again. I'm in front of Louis. Bang. You notice as I transition over, I'm here. I could even, at this point, I'm loaded on this foot. I can grab and then throw. I can even back your basket, make sure you can't turn and throw.
Sorry, Grace, I beg your pardon, sorry. I've got my camera. It was the position of your sword. The sword guard rather than can be over your shoulder or forward facing.
I could be right here. I'll show you that. Here I am. I'm gonna give him a small jab. So here's my shoulder, sword on the shoulder a little bit, or even back. I could give him a small push over here, like I'm gonna look at his elbow to make him think I'm gonna go this way. And then I can bang right there, right? So really, again, a good way to practice this is really slow against your pelt. Is I jab, when I come back, where does that sword flow? Where's the best place this can flow? And then come back.
Okay, thank you.
Right, so wherever your sword position is, feet are feet, but you may have to discover what is the best placements of areas you can throw it. Because you may have a slightly different rotation than a person with the sword in front of them. But it's absolutely there. This is a really nice one, because I can take this jab, this sword's on my shoulder, and now I got this big, long, deeping wrap. Right? So that's one nice thing about a rotation when your sword's a little bit behind your head.
All right, try this, see if I can do it.
All right, so let's give that a little try. This is just a simple, quick drop step, and then go the other way.
I leaned.
Yeah, and don't lean. Because you lean, you lose your jump back the other way.
I end up doing.
So now, I want you guys to really think that this guy is your opponent. So give him like that hard, let that energy out, breathe. This is part of it as well. When you take this little step forward, blow out a little bit of air, because that's going to allow you to breathe better. It also helps your opponent think you're really going that way, that you're making that commitment. Uh-oh.
Real fun noises. It's good time. Good stress relief.
I could do some really nasty two-sword attacks coming out of this.
Exactly. So the piece on here is to really convince your opponent. Remember, sometimes, and I did this as well, sometimes we get so much into understanding what we're doing with our feet, it becomes just a drill. And then we try to present that drill to our opponents and not convincing. We have to learn to convince our opponent. So we have to, when you take that drop step, it's like you're only moving 2 or 3 feet or 3 inches. It's hey, right? And then they're like, whoa! They get that shock, and then bang, you go the other way. So you get 2 good breaths out of this exercise, and a energy at the beginning. Yes, Bess, that's perfect. You actually kind of gave it a little bit of sword as well. You engaged the shoulder, and that was perfectly fine. You just don't want to engage it so much that you lose.
I was deliberately using the shoulder to make it look throw the blow to sort of well, fake them out, I guess.
That's exactly what you want to do. You're like really convincing them.
Except my shift to be real slow.
Yeah. Hard, relax, drop that hard the other way. Yeah, perfect. That was exactly it, right?
It feels really slow.
It's not bad. I mean, if I'm in front of it, if I'm this guy, here I am. Remember, push me with your eyes too. Remember, push that. Oh, sorry, you no eyes.
Your slow shift.
Oh, okay. If he was just he's the slow shift is getting you in. So go ahead and do the slow shift.
Well, he's using the slow shift to trick them.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's exactly it. So that beginning gives them time to commit to your first move. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess using a little time to start.
Yeah, there's different ways to work, right? Right?
Depends on the person if they're jumpy or
yes, exactly.
Slow reacting.
Yeah, if they're slow reacting, the slow shift is good. Also, what the slow shift can show you is if they're reacting at all. Right? Good.
Yeah.
That's all right.
I just want to do this and then.
There you go. Nice drop too.
Into that sliding side leg.
Oh, it does lead right into it.
Since they're like working less than normal today.
I'm gonna show.
To that inside.
Over to fuck it. And just add a spotlight.
No.
Nice spot. All right. So here's side doing the other way. This is dragging inside leg. So good. There you go. Good. You notice when she drops her whole body on that leg shot. She does it. Okay. Nice. And then this is going to be the wrap. She's going to do the other way. There you are. Leave it here for a few seconds. Watch how these other folks are doing. Yep, and so once you get comfortable, you can actually change your shots up a little bit. Just do them slow. See how the next shot's going to feel. All right, make sure you gather that foot after you take the second step. Best. Yeah, there you go. You got to get those feet back together. Yep. All right, watching you, Angie. Good. And nice fall away. That's nothing wrong with that fall away after throwing the headshot. Abelard, make sure you're turning those feet so you got good rotation. Yes. Yes. Let's see it, William. Nice. Very good. Nice drop in your body for those shots. Good energy too, William. Good. Watching you, Germer. We're doing right now. That's the way. Nice, Grimmer. That's good. Remember, burst off that. And watch your knee on these. These are going to put a lot of burst on that knee, okay? So watch how many.
Like deep wrap. As do we, man. We love that deep wrap.
Oh, yeah. The deep wrap with this is so nice. All right. So a couple more, and then we're going to change this up, and we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of kind of the next example of this. We'll add the shuffle step into it.
That's the one I keep trying to do. I keep trying to throw the shuffle instead.
Well, and that's fine, because if you're comfortable that way, that's nothing wrong with that. It just, as long as you know what you're doing, that you don't get trapped in a shuffle step when you're meant to do a nice big gathering step to keep good ground, right? So you don't want to, guys running at you and you're trying to rotate around them. A shuffle step could be relatively dangerous as if he catches you with your feet together.
Yeah, you're gonna lose balance too, so right.
You got it. So, but if that person's going backwards to gain a little bit more distance as they're going backwards, a shuffle step is exactly what you can use, because it's going to add that distance. So let's go ahead and we're going to just practice that shuffle step again, right? We're going to bring this foot almost like heel to toe, and then we're going to shuffle it over, right? The heel to toe, and we're going to shuffle it. In this one, because the shuffle step can get bigger, we're just going to go ahead and make two different. Here I'm on the 45. Here I'm on 45.
We're on that camera right now.
All right, go ahead, and we're going to switch it to our other camera for a second so you can see, and then we'll do the above one just so you can see again. Here I am at the 45. Here I am at, so this touches, my toe is almost touching my heel, and then I'm over here. So as you get good at this, you can almost do them at the same time. You're almost lifting both feet. But literally, even there, I almost touched my feet almost every time. And then go ahead and drop your butt down and do it. All right? So I want you to do that one about 4 or 5 times until you're comfortable. So do that until you feel comfortable. And then I want you to drop down 2 inches and do it again. You got this one, Vern?
What? You talking to me?
Do you see what we're doing? You got this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Abelard, we're watching you. So take out that first, there you go, better. I was going to say, take out that little step at the beginning. There, good. It's only we ask. Good.
Beautiful.
So now just for you, be careful. We're always going to get a little bit wider. Just be careful you're not changing, that you're in a position you can throw, okay? Gutulio, you're looking nice there. In this one, we're not necessarily changing up our feet. So in other words, depending on if you're funny foot forward, then your funny foot stays forward. Go ahead and do a couple of them. Yeah, I like that. I like your ice cream cone shield. That's good. So you're taking 1 extra step than you need, Vern. You got 1 extra step in there. So you just need to watch Louis here. His foot comes across. See, it says 1, 1, 2. Okay, do it nice and slow.
2.
1, 2. Okay. And in this case, we're not crossing them too much. Watching it, Grimmer. That's it. Nice. I like that you're keeping your head nice and tall. Good. Yes. All right. Everybody's looking pretty good on these. We're gonna add that little fake into these to make it look faster. You good?
Yeah.
All right. So here I am. We can do that same thing. In other words, we can still do a real quick drop out, like a gathering step, and then you could step here and then kind of shuffle. So this first one, you could do this. Now I get a little bit of extra distance. So what I'm doing is here I am. I drop just like Louis had at a lean. This time we're going to keep going the same way though. Then I'm just going to do a shuffle right across the front and get way around. What you're going to try to do in this step is like I'm going to throw a leg shot. Here, I'm throwing a leg shot. No, I'm not. I'm throwing it way back over here.
I'm throwing the other leg shot.
Right, so if here in front of Louis, I'm fighting Louis, and I'm like, here I come, Louis. I'm going to throw, here, hey! And then I'm way over here on Louis. Because he collapsed.
Bob's kind of annoying.
We're going to do it again where Bob's not in the way. We good? All right.
Bob's really annoying.
Bob's annoying.
It's fine.
There you go.
Just turn his arms up.
You could not, no, his body was blocking all of you.
All right, here we
It's
go.
not just the
Again,
arms.
all I'm doing, like Louis had before, I'm just leaning over here and that little step. See how Louis drops because he's thinking I'm going to throw a leg. Hey! And then I'm over here. So what we're doing is we're trying to make our opponent think we're doing one thing, but then we add or do another thing. So first exercise against this is all we're going to do is here and then way around with a rack. Okay? And then later we're going to switch it. And here I'm shifting here, inside leg. Or offside head. Hey! Here I am. It's like I'm almost going to make him think I'm going to rip that elbow. Hey! And then I'm over here. Bang, offside head. All right?
Kick Bob for good measure.
So go ahead, put Bob. Let's do this.
Skip around, kick him.
That's right.
Now it's melee.
All right, I'm going to watch and see how you guys feel with these. How you doing, Grimmer?
I always get too wide on the final one of these.
You do, and you can go ahead and watch it. A lot of times when you get your body lower to the ground, your feet will widen somewhat naturally. You just don't want so wide that you can't move again.
Find balance.
Good. Let's get those hips under you a little bit more. I want you to look way high, almost at your ceiling. There you go. Pull those hips forward.
Yeah, I got some lean happening.
Yeah, right in your hips you got the lean. There, not your back. There, good. Much better. So again, a good way to practice this first part of this exercise is just the same thing Louis did, or either or, is just lean, that shift, that hip comes over your foot, and then hey, and then bring it back. Hey, and then bring it back. Hey, and bring it back. Hey, bring it back. Hey. Okay? So the idea is you practice that first one. You notice I'm breathing out. That height is so I breathe out on that first one. Hey! Hey!
Over an opponent in the middle of a fight, it has an effect.
Yeah, there's actually a martial art all based around sound.
It just tells your opponent to freeze and then they do it.
It's almost like in melee when you go, hey, hey, hey!
The element of surprise is a thing, man. What? Oh, God! This.
Yep.
And then shuffle. Okay.
You gotta get a good hard step on that one.
Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah. Make sure you're breathing on that first little step. That if you breathe on that first little step, it's more sudden to your opponent. Okay? Yes. That is a lot better.
Next to the last one.
What was nice about the second last one is the hips and the shoulders went at the same time.
Yep.
Like that. Yeah, I did the same thing.
Now, just for all of you, and I'm gonna. Some of you guys are outside already, so this is fine. What we noticed was when we went outside, we had a little higher grass. Your feet, because again, we tend to slide our feet on concrete a lot more. Sometimes those feet will kind of grab the grass a little bit. So you're gonna feel uncomfortable, but you'll also learn to lift your feet better when you're outside doing this in the grass. So when it gets nice out, take your ladder outside and practice it. The exercise is no different. The trick is you're just trying to make sure that you get the feel of what it is when some other thing is, a bumpy ground or a gravel ground or a slick floor. All of those create differences in how these exercises are done. But because you have better balance in your body, you can make all of those work better than a normal person can.
The agility ladder increases in difficulty too.
Yes, it does.
Why, yes. We also experienced
Yeah.
that on Tuesday. When
So-
I tripped over it.
Yeah, so don't be, again, the big piece is don't be surprised when you hit outside and you're like, hey, I can't do all this stuff. You can do it, but you're going to have to get comfortable. Start slow and then build into it. I mean, even for us who had been doing it primarily outside first and then been working all winter inside, we went back outside and we're like, oh, these are so hard.
Well, there's also, if your yard's anything like mine, it's not exactly flat.
Right.
I've got lots of bumps and lumps and rolling things and the not yet nicely manicured grass. So we went from this nice flat smooth surface to bumps and lumps and all kind of stuff. So
But you can see how we're using that drop step, real suddenness of that drop step to create opportunity. We're freezing our opponent. You remember also that you don't have to do that straight out. In other words, you want to see what, part of fighting your opponent is to figure out what they're going to do. So if I'm fighting side here for a second,
Roll him back for a second.
if I'm fighting side for a second and she just does this naturally and I go away. So even if she just does the whole thing naturally and I'm floating away, it's not a good thing for her. She's like, well, I have no shot, right? But she could have found that out much earlier just by doing that jab set. I could be like this. She's like, oh, he's going that way. So this time she might just cut me off with a gathering step. So now all of a sudden I'm falling away and I'm not quite sure. It's like, oh, I'm going to fall away. And then go back the other way. Now she's in front of me. I'm like, whoa, right? So helping understand that first little jab step helps you understand what your opponent's going to do. It also can confuse your opponent. In other words, she might just give me a jab step 2-3 times. And now I'm like, that's kind of bullshit. Now she can go ahead and do a real one. And then it's too late. Right? So she's setting me up. She's creating a playbook. She's building something that I'm going to do and creating something. So she's making a pattern, breaking a pattern. Okay? Like the side was just saying. So that's how we manipulate and use multiple types of footwork to manipulate your opponent. All right, let's go back a couple more of those, and then we're going to try something different again.
So does that one also work just fine with just, instead of a first initial step, just using a stomp on that one?
Yeah. Yeah, so she could literally just stomp her foot, right?
Not even shifting weight.
Not even shifting weight. And you could literally almost just drop straight down into it. Yep, you see, now she's just lifting her feet, and now she's creating that energy, and now go ahead that way. And then she creates energy. So I'm here, she fakes, and then she's gone. But you have to know what your opponent's going to do before you do that.
So that also tenses your opponent's muscles and makes it tough for them to move from that position quicker.
Exactly.
You're getting better at those. I remember you used to have a lot of trouble with them.
I
Those are
still
so
have a
much
lot of
better.
trouble with them, but it's fine. Well, they are better.
Yeah, they are.
So here's the alternative question is, I have you who's a highly skilled opponent and I do all that and you're really chill and you're just like, I don't care.
Right.
What's the strategy then?
All right, so she's falling into you have somebody that just doesn't care when you're making big fakes. One piece is, there's a couple of pieces on that, one is, they have to respond when you go to a dangerous area one way or the other. Part of fighting is actually controlling your response. Sometimes you're in a position you try to control it to fool your opponent that it meant nothing to you. It does. Your head is literally processing it. So let's say she's not going to move here, and I give her a stomp. She still moved a little. So I give her a stomp. She doesn't care, right? She doesn't care. So now I'm going to give her a bigger stomp. Hey! So all of a sudden I give her I close that range a little more. She did showed me a little bit more, right? So now I might have to okay, well, I'm gonna, given how this falls here, she's falling back a little, I'm gonna not only do a stomp, but I'm gonna try to break off to one corner and threaten the arm. Okay, you notice she fell back right into that corner without moving her defense. So she was very good in that scenario. But I'm learning that, okay, this side may be shut down. So now I know she's really comfortable going that side. I'm probably not going to get a good attack at that side, but watch this. Ready? So now you're not sure when you're going to do that.
Well, yeah. I'm a bad example because I'm jumping.
Right. So the idea is to apply multiple times, try to get them changed. You could even change the speed of it. Watch this. Ready? Right? I'd go in really slow and then I switched with my back foot. I did a kind of little quick switch foot.
I'm going to pretend I'm you and I just
right?
kill you on the way in.
Right, and so you have to watch that too. So, but the idea is I can make bigger, longer steps. Right? Right there.
I have to do something.
So eventually they have to kind of fall into something. If they don't, could be like they want to throw. I get where I come and they want to. I see they're like, oh, he's a counter shooter because as soon as I move to do something, they're ready to throw. So I'm like, oh, great. So I give them that. So now they're not sure. Now they're throwing in the garbage. You're not sure what. So this is that idea. If you find out they're a counter shooter before you attack them, you have a much better chance of attacking them. Understand when their shot is coming. If you attack them straight out and they're a counter shooter while you're throwing, they're probably going to win. But by faking that first one and all of a sudden they start counter shooting, they're going to take it away because you didn't throw. You still have your good guard. And now you also know that that's primarily probably what they do naturally. So the more you understand what they do naturally, the more you can take advantage of it. So next time she's a counter shooter, I'm going to do this. Bang! I hesitate for a second, and as her hand comes back, I'm throwing my shot.
If they don't respect,
go ahead.
If they don't respect the threat that you pose, they're not going to react, right?
No, some might actually throw something, but yeah, most of the times it comes down to them really respecting the danger that you give them. So I could totally. This is where some of this.
So when you are entirely unthreatened by me,
yep,
is where I have to figure out some way to make you feel threatened because I can.
Right.
And if I'm really bad at fakes,
if you're really bad at fakes, but and I'll tell you, this is an exact example of. So I was having problems with how to
get over that hump.
How to throw a good, believable fake, and it was because. This was just an exercise. She knew the technique, but she didn't know how to sell it. So now she's gonna look right through my shoulder like she's gonna gaze right through something like she's gonna really hit it. In other words, the eye at the last minute twitches right into that spot where you're gonna hit. And then all of a sudden I catch your eye moves here. And if I have good connection, I'm following that energy. So if she just does an exercise and is right at me every time, I don't care. Because I'm following that energy, it's straight at me. Now if she just turns a little, she pushes that energy to a different place, I have more, and now with the breath out and all of those things, I have a better fake built into that. So fakes are very difficult, but it's all about the energy that you're selling to your opponent without putting yourself in such a bad place you can't execute your next technique. Does that make sense? Can you guys, and it's something I really wanted to talk about, but it's a difficult subject. So
I think that's really hard to even be in an area where you can demonstrate you can throw the shot, but not be so far in their range that you can die.
Right. And that's why this little stomp makes such a big difference, because they don't know how far you're going. And that little stomp is not breaking your feet so wide that you can not continue throwing that shot. So let's do that once. And what we're going to do is we're going to throw a small fake.
This one.
And we're going to hit the Pell with it. All right, I'm gonna do it first, and then Side's gonna do it. Here's the Pell. So all I'm gonna do is we're gonna push, and I really want you to focus on their left shoulder, or on their right shoulder, which would be my left side. Look right over that shoulder like you're gonna throw to that side of their head. Push your head right in there and really concentrate. Even change your eyes to push it right into the, right now I got a blurred vision, and then I straighten my vision right into the side of her head, along with this jab foot. And a little bit of breath out. Okay?
Seems like it falls in line with they always tell you not to look at what you're throwing at, because it gives it away, and now we're purposely using that.
Yes. Now you're purposely using that connection.
I'm going to hit that, even though I'm not.
Right, to change her. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push, I'm going to hesitate, and then I'm going to throw a shot. So I was like, wait a second, throw the shot.
I was always taught that they were called eyes, and you're supposed to be literally telegraphing with your eye, in theory, where you're going. It's all a fake.
Because ultimately, there's another layer that people don't realize happens in a fight, and that's the connection of the fight.
Yeah.
Right? People make connections. It's like a dance. People make that connection. So if you overdo that connection to a point, all their connection thinks of the area. But then you're going to change it. But they don't know you're changing it. So that's that. You're essentially what you're taking that connection and you're breaking them down. There, that's nice, William. Now, I want you to literally blow, push right past the side of his head, just hit it. There, right there. Yeah, you've even just Ugh!
So if I'm doing the drop in place fake, I look kind of.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, if you want to she's gonna fake down. She's gonna literally drop. Be careful when you look down that you're only moving your eyes and not your head. And then she's gonna break back up. And that little quick feet drop makes them. Yes.
I'm only dropping like that.
You're only dropping that much. 100%. So you're not breaking your form. Yes. So again, understanding that connection and how to make a good fake is something that you have to build. And it's also going to change per opponent you have. Earlier, we were doing this with a little bit of Louis' drop foot, right? So we just used that outside motion. You created that fake with motion. And then you loaded and you went a different way, right? So that's how you're creating that. So in this case, what we're doing is we're creating it even a smaller space. Now, I'll warn you, this kind of small fake like she's doing right now probably will not work against somebody that's been fighting 6 months. Because it's so small that they may not recognize it. You have to make it much bigger. So sometimes you're going to be like, hey, slow it down. Hey, bang, and then take your time doing it.
Yeah, newbie Bob is unlikely to catch the subtleties.
All right, Angie. Good. Sell that first one. Push it. Get that energy like you're really going to hit him. You got it. The good part about this is there's still energy here. They got the little bit of energy and a break. A nice double. Oh, that was nice, Sivrid. That was good. That's the way to do it. Yes. Even in that space, you notice you still got way around his front foot. You still won that. Uh-oh. All right. Getulio, what are you thinking? You get the idea of these?
I had to deal with something else for a few minutes. I didn't
Oh,
see
no
what's going on.
So we're doing what is going to be idea of understanding how a fake works. Okay? So in this case, we're taking a fake, and all we're going to do is we're going to do a little drop fake right in front, take a hesitation, and you're going to look right over the person like you're going to throw that side of the head. Look right into their ear. Right? But don't drop your head, put your body right into the ear. Hey! Right into that ear. And let that energy. Hey! The other side. Okay? Nice. Make them really nice and sharp, guys. Because that's what people. Different. He looked like he totally faked you out there, boy. Nice. That was two. That was good too. Awesome. All right. That's when I'm watching. Yeah. Those are so. It's so funny. You're throwing that little first fake, and it almost looks like the video is skipping. It's so fast. At first, I was like, "Am I seeing a thing? Is it a video or is it her?" It's like, hey! It's just like so fast. It's cool. All right, Angie, I'm watching it. Make a nice. Yes, make them commit. Yeah, make that first one. Don't worry about your second shot. Yeah, make your first one really your commitment. Do it again.
Bye, Beth.
Bye, Beth. Good. That's the way. So make sure that front foot is really, right now you're working mostly sword. So make sure you bring it back, step. Yep. Don't lean your body over the step. Put your hip up with the step.
That drop step into another drop step going the other direction is so much easier against another opponent. It was hard to figure out what I was supposed to do against Appel, but as soon as I'm against another opponent, that makes so much sense.
Doesn't it? Exactly. When you, all of a sudden, when you get an opponent in front of you guys, this is a good exercise to find a friend and just practice it and be a good opponent, right? You know, so in other words, it's like, let them do it a few times and then go ahead and turn with them, you know, turn like you would normally feel like they're doing. And then their job is to make sure they can still, you know, try to get over those feet. And then later you keep building on that. So, you know, I might, if I'm working with side here and my first one is she's going to stand. So my first one is she's going to stand in position and I'm going to make, you know, a shuffle here. It's like, hey! And then, so she's going to stay and let me do it. Okay? And my next one might be, okay, she's going to be a little more dynamic and she's going to, you know, this time she's going to turn with me and I'm going to see how I can do this one. Okay? That way I can kind of build on it. They're going to be more interactive. And then in the last piece, I'm going to tell her, don't let me get around you. And I could be like, so now I'm going to add those things I learned. Right? I'm going to add some of the stuff I learned with the fakes and things like that. So that's how you can kind of stack how to be better and better at applying a technique. Start it at its base and then build it up through movement. All right, watching.
I still want to see a Coach's Corner episode on like how to be a good.
Yeah, I think that's a good.
Because the training partner is not just a human pal; they have a job.
Good, Angie. I see you're kind of doing a double. Yeah, that's the way. Perfect. Nice little shuffle step that way. or gather actually, you're doing the step out on those. Those are good. Nice. Burn. That's the way. Keep that body nice and stacked, but it looked good. Nice, Catulio. Make that first one believable. Breathe out. Make it like you could really throw a blow there. Because sometimes we will. You could throw that and see that they're totally ignoring it. If they're totally ignoring it, then hit them with it. Right. With an Ksenia, that looks really good.
Say it again.
Ksenia. Yeah, that looks
You were
really.
still on mute when you said
Oh,
it.
that looks really good. Good. It gave me time to say it right.
Now we just have to get you to work on my name.
I know. How do you say your name? Because I know I'm saying it wrong.
It's Vayorn.
Vayorn.
Yeah.
I'm going to put an A in there.
You can spell it with an A too, so.
Okay.
Just turning it into 2 syllables instead
Yeah.
of 1.
But I warned you guys already how bad I am, so.
We still like you, don't worry.
All right, good.
You figured out my name eventually, so you can do those too.
That's right, Sad B.
Sad B. Sad B.
Got mine all right.
Yeah.
It took a while.
It took a minute.
Getulio, see, shift your weight until you your center is like right over top of that outside foot, just before you do the drop step. Yeah, exactly. That looked way better.
I'm watching you, Abelard.
Yes. And try to keep that step small. Just
Nice. That last one, Abelard, was good.
Just enough that you can recover and push off of it.
Yeah. Same thing, Abelard. You can make that first step even smaller if you want. Just like shorten it up. Just bring it like 6 inches in front of you. There you go. And then the next step could be really big.
Bye, Yannick.
Yannick going?
Yep.
All right. Ciao, buddy.
It's late there.
Yeah, I know it's late. Thank you for coming, though.
The pitfalls of an international fight practice.
Yeah, whoever thought we'd be here. Woo, that was nice.
Still cool.
Abelard, that was good.
All right, somebody else.
Good. All right.
I can feed.
So these are always the harder pieces, making that first. And if you feel like your first fake isn't good enough, then go ahead and throw a real blow and see what it would really be like. So if I'm dropping on that foot, throw that real off, that real blow first. Just one. Bang. Okay. Now I'm going to do that same physical piece without the throw. Right? So the idea is you can essentially, as you're here, I could be like, bang. Right? Now I'm going to do it without throwing the sword. And then I'm going to go. So that way you understand where your body is, how you're supposed to feel when you're throwing a fake. The closer you are to making it look like a real blow, the more your opponent will believe you.
Yeah, Ronbalder left already. He snuck out on us. But
Okay.
Ronbalder always says a fake is just a blow you didn't actually finish.
Exactly. And later on, you're going to find this is what allows you to manipulate your opponent. The more you can manipulate your opponent, the more you will understand them, and the more you will find their weakness. George puts it, the more you essentially control. Yes.
an entire year at fight practice and trick you into thinking I'm going to do it.
Sick. All right. So we're gonna try one more thing here. I'm gonna let Side do a couple of these as she was helping run this, and then we're gonna do that exercise that we did earlier that we did on Tuesday, and that is we're gonna because this one was a relatively hard to understand. We're gonna essentially do a quick kind of in and out, and then we're gonna bail. And then we're going to do a long jab step forward with a rollout. So in the end, it's going to, what I want you guys to realize is that after doing this quick in and out, you're essentially bang, bang, bang. You have to take a couple steps back like you're leaving, and then you have to set up and then do the long jump, okay? The long jump into your opponent. So yes, that's it. Now you see you created that room and then the long jump. Good. So
I'm gonna stop doing that. Let you guys demo.
All right. So I'll demo. You could leave them. We're still doing it.
Oh, I thought you guys were doing it.
Yeah, but some people are gonna do it on the pedal. We'll do it. Just leave them right there. There you go. And then we'll do it with Louis. So Louis, go ahead. You're gonna be the person since we taught this one last week, Louis. So the first step in this is Louis is going to give me the double jab, kind of the switch, the in and out. That's it. Go ahead and lead with that one into this. And then he pushes me off. Now his next step is he's going to do that, but he's going to fall off as well. Now see how far he fell off? That's the idea, because if he doesn't fall off, then I don't have any room. He doesn't have room to do the long jab. So here we go again. He does the double feet thing, drives me off, falls off. I start stepping, and then he's going to be prepared to do the long jump in. So now we're going to do that piece. Ready? Push me off. And then he jumps. Okay? In this case, he just switched feet. He didn't do long jab, but he did a little bit more of the passing. Let's do it again with the long jab. Here we go. Drives me off. And then he surprises me because he all of a sudden he's in my face and I don't even know it. Okay, that's a difficult place because as I'm walking in, Louis has to figure out how long his sword is and how long his step is.
Right.
Right? Exactly. So he's going to do it again. Right. So I took literally one step forward. He was still very far away. He did the long jab step, and then he even looked like he was going to roll off, but we were not to that point, so he didn't. But he did that long jab step, and it was very far away. So last piece, I'm going to show you the last part of this. He's going to drive me off. There's his double step. I'm coming, long jab step, and then he's going to break off around me. Okay? So we're going to do that again once more so you can see it. I'm fighting him. Holy cow. Okay, so that's how that ends up. So on the pedal, you're going to go ahead and get the double step, and then you're going to back off, and then you're going to set up in a long jab step, and then break. Good. All right? So let's work that. There's a lot of steps in this. So this is the piece of how we're using all of this stuff we're learning to apply to make your opponent do something. We're learning range and how far you need to do that jab step. And we're learning, making sure we're adding the breakout to the side. So there's all kinds of steps going on in here. And we're learning how to add them together to make a better fighter.
Bronis?
Yes.
So with that, when you come in with that jab, what are your thoughts on, instead of actually throwing the jab, just dropping down and thrusting in the stomach?
You can do that. I'm not a huge thruster, but you can absolutely go ahead. As they're walking in, they do not know. You can do a jab with a thrust. But I'm going to tell you, be careful. That thrust is going to come in very hard.
Yeah.
All right?
He did it.
Yeah, no, it was a thing I was just thinking about, because there's that, if you get them to bite on the jab and they lift, you just drop and.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. I would do that like in fencing with that broken wrist.
Oh yeah, no, that would be my thought. You break your wrist and elbow to not break, but you collapse so you don't actually.
Now I'm going to mention one thing for everybody here is one problem you'll see in a lot of thrusting, unless you do like full motion thrusting, is recovery. Remember, on a thrust, you don't have the same defense you do on a throw.
What?
You got one defense, and that's your shield on a thrust.
What?
Until your sword comes back into a position where when you're throwing a shot, I might, in this case, Louis goes ahead and throws a shot. He still has defense, so a thrust, his off line is still open. He thrusts, his off line's open over here, right?
Right. Unless I thrust.
Right. So even if he thrusts that way, you know, all of a sudden, even if I'm throwing on this, I'm a lefty, here I am. But now here, he breaks this because he pulls his hand up. But that's literally, but at this point, he could throw a throw the same way. Throw. And even if I'm throwing something, he's breaking. That sword is, big part about a sword throw is that you throw that sword across the throwing line of your opponent, it's a block. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's why you have to watch thrusting, because you fall into a place where you lose at one level of defense with your weapon.
Gotcha.
Okay? You got it. So make sure you set up. So you drive them off and walk back, set up. Now we're learning how to set up fast, right? We're learning how to get our body in the right place to set up. And then you take that long jab. Remember, on that long jab, it's not up with both feet. So here I am. I give the double feet. I drive off. I drive back. And then it's like, hey, bang, at the same time. And then around. All right?
So I just wanted to clarify something. When you take that step in and step back, then you're forcing your opponent to, if you don't re-engage with them, forcing your opponent to walk toward you. So now if you want to practice timing their step or something like that, you're making a situation so that you can now time their steps and then throw your shots.
Exactly. And that's exactly it. Louis is nailing it on the head. Now you're learning to time steps as well. You're learning to figure out that range, your range with your sword and their range. You're making them close range. What they call this is the push and pull. In this case, Louis pushes me, I go back, and then he pulls me. This is Muhammad Ali in its face, right? So now as I'm pulling, he could do this and just go backwards and wait for me to come in. And then as I'm coming in, he could be throwing. So in this case, we're taking advantage of a long jab, but he could just push me off for a second and then go straight backwards and throw as I'm coming at him. Bang, bang, right? Because somebody walking at somebody, a lot of times they'll put their shield, as I'm walking at Louis, and I'm going to turn around because this will give you guys a see. I'm going to show him different stuff. Okay, so here I am. Louis is going to drive me off. Here, now I'm going to come, I'm walking. Look, I'm looking right over my shield. Right? So Louis is going to take advantage of that on timing. As I step into a range he can throw, he's going to throw. Now this time he drives me off, and then he steps back. I'm going to come here. Now my sword, everything, my whole underbody is open, because when I step forward, here I am. I lift that shield a little because I want to free my legs. So a lot of times when you're walking forward, that peak of your shield will also come up. So he could literally just throw that leg. But you're learning what your opponent's giving you because you drove him off. So that's the idea of what Louis is talking about, making your opponent do something and then figure out that time. So there's in this case, guys, there's a little bit more about fighting theory going on. I wanted to add a little bit of the practice to it. Good point is we're starting to get to that place where we're going to have friends that have, have the shots and things like that, or people that you can get back together with. And these are the type of techniques and exercises you could do with them. And they're not going to be perfect. So make sure when you first start doing that you both work together and you say, this is what I'm doing. your job is to do this. And then that person just does that. And then, okay, your turn to do it. And then I just be a good opponent and do what you say. So even if these guys are making a turn, you know, they're going to do that little jab, step, and go around. So my job as an opponent in this, Side's going to make a little jab step. I'm going to bite. My job as an opponent is bite and then let her go. Okay, and then do it again. Good. Now I'm going to say, I want her to really push that eye contact and push it through me. Give me some breath. Good thing I can't see your face.
Sorry. Whoa.
Yes, there you go. Good. A little more harder. Yeah, there we go. Give me that same one. Yep. Yes, right there. Better. So now what we did is I'm giving her feedback, and we're learning how to do it better. So this is the kind of thing we want to get to when we get into partner drills. This is the kind of thing we do in fighting, but the problem is we get it once, maybe in a day when we're sparring, or once an opponent, and we don't practice it. We need to be able to practice something over and over again until we know we have it right. And that's what's going to make for a better fighter, more consistent fighter over the long run of how to do something. It also allows somebody that may not be, so when you have newer people that may not be as athletic as some others, let those athletic ones go and fight because that's what they're used to, because they've been athletic their whole life. They just want to go play. And grab the ones that, you know, they want to learn how, they still need power generation, and they still need to learn how to move their feet, and they're not as athletic. And build technique so that when those two meet, they have all of this technique to be, their sword and shield ain't going to move. And this big guy might be going all over the place, or this fast person might be going crazy, but their technique is going to be spot on. They've learned power. They've built exercise. They've built strength in their lower body. And all of those things are going to balance things out, because now this person's going to, they might even get some shots, you know, okay, I'm here. And then they get some big bursting shots and they throw 10 blows. Now they're tired. So now all of a sudden I do this to them and they're like, oh, I'm not ready to fight yet. They collapse and then bang. Okay, thank you. Right? Because that's just simple technique. That simple technique will come back. You know, and if you have somebody that's, once you understand that, if you have somebody that's really energetic, then you invite them in to wear them out, and then simple technique them.
Yes, please. Burn
Okay.
all of your energy right now.
So that's the idea of how to manipulate people based on what they are. So give you a feeling, when I fight an 18-year-old person that has a lot of energy, I literally give them nothing. So if I give them energy, then they burst all over the place. They're going to burst higher. They have more energy than I do. So I go in there and I'll give them a blank sheet. They don't know. I'm literally like this.
I'm all crazy.
Right? And Louis is like, oh, I hate that. Like, I'm not giving them anything. I don't want to give them energy.
And then I get confused eventually and stop and go, I don't know what's happening.
So then when they slow down for a second, then I can go over their energy. I have to find those places myself. So that's how a smart fighter can still compete with people that have maybe more energy, more adrenaline, faster speed. You find those spots better because you know yourself and you know how to do that. Okay? So everybody get a little bit out of this week's episode? Yeah? I hope you liked it.
This is really good.
Yeah, awesome. So I'm hoping, I tell you what, I really liked the early, I would really suggest you guys go and look for, you know, wiffle ball bats you can fill, or the iron pipes at Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever. That was just a great idea. Octa's motion stuff that he was just doing, natural stretching stuff, was really good. If you have something that you've learned even from another sport that you think is, that you think is good, remember I said this a long time ago, this is all of our practice. Both Ethwin and Octa taught me stuff today, which really I love. And it's all of our practice so that we can all get better together. And that's the best part. And that's what makes a good practice, is everybody constantly giving and pushing each other. And that's what I'm hoping we have here. So really want to thank you all for coming out and making this a good day for us here. And hopefully we're pushing your ideas of learning. A lot of times, don't worry, you don't have to learn this in one session. I never expect, I'm not going to come out here next week and say, what did I say about, doing the jab foot? What did I say about all of this? This kind of stuff is built on all the time. And we look and we fix it, and you do it and we fix it, and you do it, we fix it. And then at some point you do it so well, you fix me. And, it's that kind of thing. Education is a building cycle, and that's what's expected. And we've seen it already. I mean, people's footwork here is so much different than when we first started. I mean, how many of you guys did footwork the first week, and next day you're like, oh, my legs, I can't move, and it's the Grimmer's over there. I couldn't get up the stairs. I had to have my wife come pull me up, and now, it's like, okay, my legs are a little tired sometimes because I push myself or whatever, and you're bursting, and those distances you're getting with the shuffle feet are much bigger, and it's all of those things. I see everybody doing it, and you're in much better shape now, and that means that you build strength and you build understanding of motion in your body and all of those things, and that's the best part. We have a comment here. Wilfram, remind me to do Taekwondo bouts back in the day. Oh, okay, yeah, this is that reminds me of doing Taekwondo bouts in the back in the day. We have
really active 19-year-olds
yes,
my age who'd be throwing high kicks all over the place, but didn't learn to block.
Exactly,
As
exactly.
long as you could block, you'd win.
Yep, and that's exactly. And what he's bringing on is that even in all martial arts, you'll have those people that want to be really offensive, and then they forget their defense. We actually talked about this on Tuesday night. I'll throw soon as you get past 3 or 4 or 5 blows. A lot of times your defense degrades, and even your sword work degrades, because that's not what you're used to doing, and you never get back to your core stance. So you're throwing your sword from a different place. It doesn't come in the same way. So a lot of times you get 2 or 3 blows in. Your first 2 or 3 blows are your best blows. And so you execute them, and then you step out, even if it's just for a second. Bang, bang, I step out, I reset. Here, now I'm ready to go again. Bang, bang, I reset. Bang, 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 I reset, right? So every time I reset, my defense and offense go back to good position and good blocking position, and I reapply, and I reapply, right? And so you're always applying the best you have, both defensive and offensively. If you go too long in a fight, something's going to break down. All right.
Let's wave goodbye to Facebook real quick. Thanks
All right,
for joining
guys.
us, Facebook.
Wave goodbye to Facebook, folks. Thanks, folks. Again, if you want to be on, hit us up in Zoom, or hit us up, and we'll put you on our Zoom.
All right. Bye-bye.